Hello everyone and welcome to New Meta for this special patch review edition. Not sure whether to call this episode 25 or episode sort of 24 and a half or special episode 1. I mean, I'll go with 25 just to bulk up the numbers, of course. So welcome to episode 25. Patch 7.22 is upon us finally after what seemed like forever. And a bit of a, not last minute, but casual pod. But nevertheless, Marco and Adam are both with me. Marco, how are you? You excited for new patch?
Hello. Yes. I mean, very excited because it's been so long since the last patch. I think it's actually literally 2 months, give or take a day, since 7.21D. So we've been craving for a change and finally got one.
Yeah. Seemingly been forever, waiting for those bloody minor qualifiers to end that started straight away after the major and just, dragged on. The last sort of week and a half, we've been waiting for it so bad. Adam, likewise, how have you been? How are you feeling about the new patch? Feeling good?
Excited, always. Brand new game whenever it comes out. I like how we had our schedule and then it's like, patch 7.22 comes out, sound the alarms, wee, time for a pod.
Yeah, that's literally it. Gotta give the people what they want, and that's a patch review. I mean, Purge's patch reactions are like the most popular Dota videos.
Yeah, I didn't know if we were going to have like we'll put it off till next Friday and then have a weekend, kind of what we thought about it. Or if it was going to need to be like special case.
Yeah, well, I mean, for Friday we'll maybe do a chunky intro, talk about how our games have been, new patch sort of thing.
Yeah, this is kind of first impressions.
First impressions, more or less. Although, from what I've heard, I mean, we usually do how have our games been, but it's been so short that I don't think we'll bother. I heard you had to do a draft or something. You've been playing you played a captain's mode or something.
We just had an RD2L in-house. I was like, everyone is still reading the patch notes as we get into this in-house. And we came up with, basically what happened was the other team they were just stuck in 7.2.1. They drafted a 7.2.1 draft and we went for the future is what happened. They were all stuck on old patch. So we basically were like ag strat, and we started off with Grimstroke because we're like, okay, this one seems pretty good. Make an illusion, right? Make 2 illusions if they're tied together. Seems super strong, magic immune. And then we also first phase Alchemist, and we were going to 4-position Alchemist jungle it entire time, and they thought we were going to mid Alch, so they like counterpicked, with Troll and Ursa and OD, so just like they just counterpicked, and that wasn't our thought process all along. We only wanted to give Ags, so we had an Arc Warden safe lane because the entire plan of the draft was first Ags goes to Arc Warden makes bounty runes, and Alc gets more bounty rune gold. And then
to make more Ags.
Yeah, we just basically make a perpetual motion machine or a Rube Goldberg or something.
Yeah.
And we just fuel the gold, the economy, basically.
That's a funny strat.
Yeah, so our lineup was 1 position Arc Warden, middle Winter Wyvern, which was the sick counter pick because they picked all these physical heroes.
Yeah.
And we just have a mid Winter Wyvern that went 24-0, and then
that really is the future.
Yeah, off lane Tiny, a 4-position Alc, and then I was the Grimstroke 5, and the 4-position Alc did not participate in the game. 0, 1, and 5 out of 37 kills, and only 1.4 hero damage. 1.4k hero damage in the entire game. But he gifted all the Ags, and that's all we needed. It was so sick.
That's wild. That's definitely Dota 3. That's Dota 3 right there. So I feel like when tackling this 7.22 gameplay update, the patch is so big that I think we'll just start from the top and go down. Won't talk about everything, of course, we'll be here forever. But Actually, when I found about the patch rather, right at the start, was I was asleep when it came out, and then I was very much expecting it to be out by the time I woke up because I knew it would come out at the end of the minor qualifiers. But I had a friend staying over at my house who left early, about 7 a.m. our time, and it woke me up. I wasn't planning to get up until like a bit later, hour and a half later or something. But I checked my phone and saw that you, Adam, had put patches out on WhatsApp, and I was like, I gotta have a little look, gotta have
a bit of a read. And
yeah, so
this one was such a pog. Just the first line on the patch, you're like, okay, here we go.
Yeah, definitely. That first line being added new scepter upgrades for all of the 24 remaining heroes without an upgrade. Super cool change, justice for the non-ag heroes. That's just a pog first line. I mean, we'll discuss what the actual ags later. They changed other older ags. Scepter now be consumed as a buff by purchasing a 2,000 gold recipe upgrade. I know Marco and brother Joe had some confusion at first because it wasn't clear whether or not you could pay 2,000 gold to literally get the upgrade without the stats. That was what the original thought was. And then that really would be wacky Dota right there. But it's not. It's just 2,000 on top of the...
half-price ags for the effect. That seems pretty OP.
I thought it was game-changing stuff. Like, okay, so now this 2,000 recipe of ags is core for every hero in the game. But now it's like 6k gold, so I'm not sure how much it changes. Slot efficiency, in the very late game.
This next line, though, is a pretty big change, I'd say. Roshan now drops a consumable scepter buff. The third Roshan will randomly drop either a consumable scepter item or a refresher shard. The fourth Roshan has both, and you can select Roshan to see the event tree to find out which item will drop. That's going to be a change that will be felt. Fourth Rosh is game ending, even more so than the third. We all thought the third Rosh was.
Plus, it's a 6k gold swing just off of the Roshan dropping an ags.
So yeah, that's pretty wild. And there are some crazy combos. Like I'm thinking something like Warlock or something. If you get a fourth Rosh ags refresher, you've won the game. I mean,
or just a Shadow Shaman.
Yeah, anything. It's crazy strong. Is it? One thing I'm interested in is the third Rosh dropping the ags considerably better than the refresher shard? Surely
I
is,
think
right?
so.
Yeah, you'd think so. That's interesting.
I mean, it's always going to be game dependent because what depends on what heroes and ags upgrades exist in that game. I'm not as blown away by the fact that there's loads of ag stuff now. I feel like the fact that refresher shard refreshes items as well as spells, I generally tip that in favor of the ags upgrade, personally.
Yeah, it depends, I suppose. Depends. One thing about the ags upgrade is that it's permanent, whereas the refresh shard's one-time use.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All it takes is one team fight to win the game.
Of course. Here's another double pog, Mars and Io. They are in after our speculation. That's just a cool... It was always going to happen before TI, so it's cool that they're in. Excited to see Mars in action.
Yeah, we got a full squad for TI.
Yeah, full squad.
Who did Stan, you said S4 played Mars.
Yeah.
Who did Crit play that game?
Pangolier.
So was a Mars Pango offlane?
Yes, I think so.
That's quite cool.
They had a Bane as well, Bane 5. I don't know what the laning situation was. But yeah, it's definitely cool to see Mars in Captain's mode. It's quite a fun hero. XP is now 40 rather than 35. Again, same direction that they've been going gradually since they made that massive nerf to being denied, and now they're slowly working their way back in the other direction. And death cost is now 50 gold less.
Yeah, I can feed even more on support.
Yeah. Don't seem... They're just sort of like tweaks. Kill streaks give more.
I think this next one is big.
The XP being increased to get to 5 and 6.
Reduced.
Reduced.
Yeah. Oh, so you get 5 and 6 faster.
Yeah.
So it's reduced by 20, but is that what, just a creep? I'm not familiar with how much XP one creep gives.
Probably a couple shared creeps, maybe one shared creep between two people. But there's a lot of times where I would just be, as a support, stuck on level 5. And, anything to make a support's life easier to get that big spell, level 6.
And it is level 5 and level 6. So it's both of them are easier to get by 20. So they changed level 19, whether
19 plus.
Oh, 19 plus increased by 100 each level. Yeah. Suppose it makes it a little harder to get those 25s. So. Oh, this is actually a mildly significant change for some heroes. The siege creep changes. So they improved the attack time, and now they spawn at 35 instead of 30, whatever. But they can no longer be dominated, enchanted, or converted. So kiss goodbye to Chen mega stuff, I suppose.
But I also think
Helm of the Dominator.
Yeah, Helm of the Dominator I think is
Dom.
very common, particularly in the pro scene, because it is so powerful as a pushing tool and that macro gameplay stuff. I think it's one of the most significant changes of the patch.
Also, I think they made the base attack time worse.
Yep.
Oh yeah, so it attacks slower now. Sorry.
Yeah, it's attacked slower. So,
And this also in conjunction with towers being generally stronger, the armor bonuses, and the glyph is stronger. How you now, if you glyph towers tier 2 and above, will send out multiple shots. So D-push a lot faster. And then in conjunction with Rush being stronger, like all these game-defining objectives are all harder.
longer games.
Yeah, slightly longer games to be
probably,
expected.
Even just the siege creep double spawn moving from 35 from 30 to 35. Yeah, there's a lot of times just double siege wave would end the game almost.
But then I guess when you're giving every hero an AGs and these like slot efficient AGs upgrades and whatnot, you've kind of got an incentive to, all right, we need the game to go late to see all these AGs come into play. So they go hand in hand, really. The idea of these games now going to be longer, and the fact that every hero's got AGs and there's all this AGs hype. Expect some crazy games at TI kind of thing.
Yeah. You mentioned towers. Tier 3 plus towers damage increased from 152 to 175. Armor increase by 1 on both tier 1 and tier 2 towers. That's the aura armor bonus, so a bit of a nerf to diving, which is a shame. Tower, and then you mentioned the multi-shot glyph. So that just means when you activate glyph, your towers. I haven't actually seen it.
It's really powerful. I saw it in the Battle Cup games we played earlier. So your towers, rather than throwing 1 hit, throw 3 hits. So you kind of triple the damage output and D-push for 5 seconds during glyph. So you nuke waves down very fast when you glyph.
Yeah, but definitely that's.
I mean, even like you say, pushing or diving.
Yeah, definitely a nerf if they've got a glyph up. You
glyph really strong now.
Yeah. Map changes, some weird ones.
I think this is a really big. I think they're trying to at least give Radiant one lane that they're not. Radiant lanes are better in every lane. I think they're trying to make it a little bit more even.
Yeah. What do you reckon the important map changes are?
Well, they just changed the hard camp next to the tier 1 tower for Radiant. So I'm almost 100% certain that the safe lane, like the Radiant team, cannot side pull this hard camp. Only the Dire. And I don't even know if the Dire can do it because they changed the leash, like the chase duration of the Radiant hard camp.
Oh,
and the spawn box is ginormous now. You can't use 1 sentry and cover the whole box. So if you get blocked there and you miss it, that's a big feels bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then if the spawn box is big, you can even just body block it more easily then.
Yeah, absolutely.
Also, the change on the Radiant mid lane being 2 layers of trees doesn't really matter if you've got a Quelling Blade, but it's for heroes that don't build a Quelling Blade, they used to just tango through it. And oftentimes in the mid lane, you want to definitely use one of your tangos with an Ironwood branch, and then a lot of heroes only have the one other. So, and then you'll have to buy basically an extra set of tangos if you want to go through there, or have one of your teammates come do it for you, which is a slight inconvenience. That will probably turn off a surprising number of stacks that obviously benefited Radiant a lot. Changes to illusions, no more... Oh no, that's a later change actually. I'm getting ahead of myself there. But yeah, illusions can lifesteal. We don't care, really.
You don't care?
I mean, I don't care.
Yeah.
No more shareable items? Thoughts, if any?
It seemed pretty niche.
It's like an Enigma thing, right?
I guess
Enigma
it was, it was too strong a play, I guess, when you could give your offlaner these HP regen items, and it helps, it makes them win the lane, kind of, and yeah, some other hero goes jungle safely. It seemed a bit too strong, I guess, for how basic and simple and easy it was. And
it just doesn't need to be there from a design point of view. I don't understand why. There's no real reason why they should be shareable in the first place.
Yeah, I think it's fine to get rid of that.
Roshan, in general, harder to take. Less XP on the last hit, almost halved, which is a bit annoying for people trying to take Rosh.
I quite like that change.
Yeah? How come?
So if you think about, I mean, some heroes say like TA or Ursa, or, I mean, even if you just coordinate your team and you can give the last hit to the carry or mid laner, it's kind of, I feel, too big a bounty for that rush taking team and player. So now the XP bounty for the last hit, 750 to 400. I just doesn't mean you can snowball as crazy hard if you get this kind of solo rush kill.
Yeah.
And then, its base armor's up, attack damage is up. So it's just harder to kill, which is, I think, generally a fine change. I think we saw rushes die pretty fast this part.
I agree, especially with
and obviously
Drow range.
When it's such a big objective, you don't want it too easy to take, because it obviously is super important to the game.
Yeah, you definitely saw some melting Roshes over the last sort of few months with this patch. So I think it's fine to have it harder to take. Also, the Rosh pit is such a defining part of the map, like the defining part of the map often in late game situations. It's fine to make it a bit more of a skirmish area, because you'll see more knife edge situations. There'll be, in the past, when teams will have arrived, a second or 2 seconds too late to contest, giving that extra little bit of time because Rosh is tankier will probably make the game more exciting, I imagine.
Yeah.
So this timer thing, a timer that credits a player for a kill when Radiant Die gets the final hit, is increased from 20 to 30. Adam, does this mean... Is this like...
Denying yourself to the tier 2?
Yeah, you've got to wait an extra 10 seconds if you want to do that sort of thing.
Yeah, if you don't want the enemy to get the gold. Like, say you just got tagged with the right click from an enemy hero. Yeah. You have to wait 30 seconds before you kill yourself.
Yeah,
for it to give out the small amount of dispersed gold, which seems like a big deal.
Yeah, it does seem like a big deal. It's twice as long. No, 50% longer.
Maybe it's better to die to neutrals now.
Yeah, maybe. You get a longer respawn, right, with the neutrals? That's the difference, yeah.
But it might be about the same now if you have to wait 10 extra seconds.
True, yeah, I hadn't thought about that. Yeah, that's a true point. They've increased the base attack speed of a bunch of heroes, and they changed the base mana regen. Is there any that we care about, Marco? Any in here that you'd look at and think worth name checking?
So CM's got a base attack speed increased, and I think there's another minor CM changed. We'll touch on it, and together they made me just laugh because I felt like it was so bad, and I don't know why. I don't know, it's like all these little buffs to CM that are actually just so useless that they felt pointless. But in terms of actual significant in this base attack speed change, I'd say Slark jumps out to me because this is a hero that's very much been in the dustbin, the trash can, the garbage bag for a long time.
Waste paper basket.
So his has gone from 100 to 120 base attack speed, which is, 20% increase, pretty significant. Weaver, quite like. He's got the same increase. And, I said silencer to you earlier because I like a position 1 silencer, but I doubt that will ever be seriously showcased. But yeah, the Weaver and the Slark changes just makes them a little bit more viable, which is quite nice.
Yep, it's all the sort of bad heroes, isn't it? This list is sort of...
Yeah, trying to help them out.
Yeah. OG did run a mid silencer in a couple of games.
That's
quite cool. Thompson's been doing a bit of silencer.
I think it's fun.
Yeah. On to items then. And then heroes. So the fun stuff, basically. Rip Mega Bloodstone Storm. That seems like the only reason for this Bloodstone change is that they thought it was silly.
Yeah. I never played a Storm game with these stacked Bloodstones. I don't think any other hero did that strat of stacking Bloodstones. So I don't know how strong or broken or OP it was.
Not particularly OP or broken, in my opinion.
So
I don't know why they've changed it. It seemed like it was fine to keep it in, to me at least.
Yeah.
It was obnoxious. When Storm got 25, it was super obnoxious because you have endless mana and you spawn those
remnants all over the place.
So you literally just go from lane to lane, zipping across the map, like quite literally.
So maybe
just
that
kill all the creep
is a little bit too silly and like gimmicky and just a little bit broken if the game got to that point. So I don't mind getting rid of that quality of life improvement for everyone.
Yep, seems reasonable. Slight nerf to drums mana, just a little bit. Scardy, 3 lines of changes. Attack speed slowdown matches the movement slow values above. Oh, I've read it in the wrong order there. Slow duration changed from 5/2.5 to 3. So that's quite a big nerf, actually, I suppose.
Yeah, I felt like this was a little bit of a nerf because often you'd get IF Skady as a kiting tool for enemy melee cores. So in the past, you'd slow a melee attacker for 5 seconds, but now it's 3. And you would slow them out. Oh, sorry, yeah. For 5 seconds, it's now 3. And the amount you slow that melee attacker is not 35%, it's now 20%. So you're slowing them for a smaller amount for a smaller time. And then slow amount for when are used on against ranged heroes increase. So Skady now is less effective against melee heroes, which is a bit of a nerf, I think, because I think it was largely picked up as his kiting tool, but now is a little bit more effective against ranged heroes, so that's kind of trying to balance out a bit. But I think those two effects together make it a little bit worse. So if you're a melee core, you're a bit happier because if an enemy has a Skady, you're not as arsed. Very minor, really.
Yeah, all things considered.
It's not super common that Skadies are picked up.
A lot of these item changes after maybe this next one we'll go over briefly, but this next one is a bit of a reasonable hefty nerf to Guardian Greaves. The HP aura is down by 1, and then also this threshold bonus armor reduced from 15 to 10, so it's 5 armor nerf to that. Yeah,
so when you get low HP, the Greaves kicks in another passive aura where you get bonus armor and bonus HP. Maybe I'm thinking you get more bonus HP regen when you go below the HP threshold. But yeah, now it's not 15, it's 10. That's a chunky decrease. So yeah, Greaves, I think, fairly enough has been worsened slightly. It always has been a very strong item and in my eyes integral to any team. Literally any, I thought the vast majority of 5-man lineups, like in that perfect composition ep we did, I think Greaves is just one of the pinnacle items you want to have in your team somewhere. So yeah, slightly nerfed. And then another significant point to items is, so Helmet Dominator has a 300 gold recipe, and what was the other? Oh, Atos has got a slight attribute nerf. But yeah, the Helmet Dominator recipe is more expensive. You're going to pick it up slower. It's more awkward to actually finish as well. I think that's quite a nice change because when Helmet Dominators were getting picked up, if you pick it up in the early, 10 minutes kind of time, it can be really, really powerful. So now it's going to be picked up slightly later, and I think that's really a nice change because I think it is, again, a really strong item.
Yep. Final change in the items that I shout is the stock limit on sentries. The cost of both wards and sentries is down a little bit, which is a nice quality of life thing for supports. But this is the first time, I think, right, that sentry wards have had a stock limit. So there's a maximum of 10, starting capacity of 4, replenish rate of 70 seconds. So that means there's only one sentry per 70 seconds, basically. Starting with 4, of course. That seems like that will... I genuinely think that will change the way pro teams play certain lineups.
Yeah, I mean, it will definitely make pro teams more conservative with their sentry usage because they now have to be. I mean, we've definitely seen games in the past where the minimap's just sprawling with sentry wards for good reason. So yeah, now that's less. You can do that less easily because there's this cap. But so I mean,
make people buy gym more.
Yeah,
true.
Have more gym, intense gym battles.
Yeah, gem's underbought item already, so yeah, I'll probably come back in. 2 tomes at 10 minutes.
Again, quality of life improvement for supports.
More or less, yeah. Or XP hungry cores that sometimes want tomes as well.
Yeah, I had a game where Phoenix bought both and just waited the 5 minutes.
Fuck you all, I'm having them both.
Yeah.
Also, definitely worth shouting out how observers and sentries are cheaper to buy now. So another support quality of life improvement. I also thought it was interesting to see Vessel slightly nerfed. So its heal reduction is now 60 rather than 70%, and its health, its damage per second as a percent of current health is now 4 instead of 5. So less DPS from Vessel and less debuff on healing.
Yeah.
I was a bit surprised when I first saw it, but I guess when you think about Vessel, it can be in the right game a very strong item. Yeah, so slightly weakening it.
Yeah, that's basically all the item changes that are relevant.
Yeah.
A lot of little tweaks. Another Wraithband nerf, which is just kind of funny because
So
I thought
funny.
that's a 5th Wraithband nerf in a row for this attack speed. It's definitely the last. I say last surviving. It was always the most prominent when they basically overbuffed Wraithband, Bracer, and Null, and they were all being mass bought. Wraithband is definitely the one that stuck out the longest as a multiple bought item. There are still heroes that buy, 3 or 4 Wraiths. So I think probably justified to...
It is incredibly minor as well, though. One attack speed less.
Yeah, I mean, it is...
17%.
They just did that change so they could have a 17% change for the 17% memes.
Heroes. And we start straight into the Ags. I don't know, Adam, you're our resident Abaddon player. Do you want to run us through the Ags upgrade for Abba?
I don't know if I think it's weak, but I haven't seen it in use. Basically, It says when borrowed time is active, anytime an ally takes more than 525 damage while within 1600 range of Abaddon, an individual miscoil will fire towards that ally. And it also still increases the duration of borrowed time by 1 second. And it's like, okay, if you take the 15 talent for the increased heal off of miscoil, okay, that's 300 healing. So you have to take 525 damage to heal 300. It just doesn't... I mean, I guess you can also target somebody with a miscoil, so maybe you're healing 600. I don't know.
Yeah, it is quite underwhelming. Another thing...
Compared to the last one that just, Centaur ult damage reduction,
Yeah, that
used
was crazy good, yeah.
You just win a fight if you press the Abaddon ult 70% redirect towards you.
Yeah.
So it's definitely weaker, but
The other thing to consider is Abaddon, in his current form as a position 5, more like position 6, really, the way he's played. He's not saving up 4.2k for an Ags. So that's probably one that you won't see ever.
Also, I just realized they changed his 15 talent from 75
to 60.
Oil Hill to 60, so it's actually just 285.
Yeah. How significant do we think this range nerf is?
Huge.
500
That's
to
that's one of the biggest
500.
changes of the patch.
800 is really nice. 500 is like dog.
A little bit dog shit.
It's so bad. Like, it's just like it's his shield. So you just can't.
Yeah.
I mean, when is he ever supposed to be able to cast anything?
Yeah, that's definitely a very rough.
Yeah, I think that's a big change.
Right when I filled out all 14 relics for Abaddon, he gets dumpstered. Feels bad.
Is he dumpstered? Do you think?
I think he's pretty weak. I mean, 500 range, you're just going to take right clicks now if you spam someone with Miscoil.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see.
I'll try it. I mean, maybe carry Abaddon's a thing. His base attack time or base attack speed's better.
Yeah, I bet perhaps see a return to the POS 3 Abaddon, maybe.
Yeah.
Moving on, Alchemist. He gets 30 damage and 6 spell amplification for each scepter that he gives an ally.
Or that he has.
Oh, or that he has.
Yeah.
Bit of a weird one.
So, in that game where we had our position 4 out giving away, he had 120 extra damage and 24 extra spell amp. It's pretty good.
That is pretty good, yeah.
And then he did how much hero damage that game?
He did
1,000.
1.4k, but I'm just saying he could have. Because the thing is, I mean, I've done the gift alch strat a bunch, but for mid. But the thing is you give away all these eggs and then you actually just can't do anything. So at least with this,
there's the potential to be relevant.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. AA changes, kind of minor, probably not worth talking about. Anti-mage. Marco, you're the anti-mage player, so you can do the honours of talking about this scepter upgrade, or as much or as little as you feel like it.
I've seen this in action, and it's a pretty pog.
I guess if the enemy team has the right heroes, it could be cool. So, for clarity, Mana Void adds... So Mana Void now stuns by 1.1 second or something. If the target dies during this period, it's anti-mage's kill, and if they die, there's a 70 seconds cooldown added to the highest cooldown ability on that enemy hero. So typically it's going to be the ultimate. Now it's got 70 seconds longer cooldown.
And that applies once they respawn.
Yeah. So say their ultimate wasn't on cooldown, then they died to this Mana Void. It's still not on cooldown when they respawn. It's just got a longer cooldown once it's used.
I don't know.
No, I believe it goes to 70 seconds.
It says cooldown starts once the enemy respawns.
It goes to 70 for sure.
Oh yeah, so they add 70. Yeah, it's acting like it's 0 before and just add 70.
So it means they respawn and have to wait 70 seconds before they can use that spell.
Yeah, so if you cast it, if you kill your Mana Void a target that has got all its spells available, the longest cooldown of all of its available spells will be 70-second cooldown when it respawns.
Okay, so if they'd say just use Black Hole, they could respawn and it'd be like a minute plus 70 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could be, yeah.
Okay, so in a scenario like
or 160,
that, in a scenario like that, it's got value. Otherwise, I don't think I'm buying it.
We did it yesterday, and you guys aren't thinking big brain enough because there's one hero that this is. Yes, it turns off Cool Spray for 70 seconds, which is hilarious.
I mean, that's funny, yeah, but
it is interesting in the sense that, first of all, it's more interesting to me than these other heroes because Anti-Mage is a mega farmer, and so it's won't be that uncommon in mid to late, well, I suppose not mid game, but late game anti-mage will often be able to pay 6k for one of these melted
less
scepters.
off. I know he's this Omega farmer, but you don't want anti-mage going to the super late game, in my eyes. You want to, maybe he gets 6 slotted, but then the game needs to end.
You don't.
Because other carries can super late game him much better.
Yeah. I don't mean that that's what you want. The people won't play for that. But anti-mage is such a mega farmer that if a game that he's involved with goes to an hour, say, he may well pay 6k for this upgrade.
Yeah, for any hyper farmer, these Ags changes are good because it's just another item they can sink gold into if it's the super late game. I think the stun duration increasing by a second will most often be more significant than that cooldown.
70. Imagine any hero, any spell. You've basically hampered their ability to do anything for a minute and 10 seconds upon their respawn. Like, it's so much easier to take, and like you say, ultimates being the longest spell, it gives you 70 seconds is a long time, especially in the late game when you can pressure Roche or pressure objectives. Any hero is, I don't know, I'm just looking at the other heroes the other side of anti-mage on this list. So like Arc Warden, no Tempest double for 70 seconds, let's fight. Or AA won't have his ult for 70 seconds.
Metamorphosis.
Plus, like Metamorphosis, anything. Like, 70 seconds is a long time to have any spell on cooldown. It does give some maneuverability to the team with the anti-mage.
Yeah, there obviously is potential. It's just not like this certain reliable value added for you.
It's not a core anti-mage item. Tell you what might be a core scepter though, and that's Arc Warden, which is the next hero. This is a weird one. So turn rate is improved. Don't care. Tempest double can activate runes, which is relevant because the new ability Rune Forge on a 60-second cooldown, bear in mind he's got his Tempest double, so effectively 30-second cooldown, creates a random rune in front of you, and it can be a power rune or a bounty rune. Is this broken? Do we think?
I mean, we used it. It was like with an Alk, it was pretty awesome.
Yeah, bounty rune seems kind of crazy. I mean, what's the chance of getting a bounty rune? How many power runes are there? 5? So it's a 1 in
5. Oh, there's in the 4 power runes.
Haste, Invis.
Oh, Invis 5. Okay.
Haste, Invis, Arcane,
Illusion.
Regen, DD. Oh, illusions. There's 6.
Yeah, there's 6. So
and then
7.
There's 7 with bounty. Oh, I see.
But I don't know, when we did it, he got like 3 double damages in a row. So I don't know. I don't know how it's probably just a 1 in 7 chance.
It's an interesting one. I do think Arc Wardens will consider getting this item after they've got their kit, as it were, to just be an annoying split pushing menace. Like the Midas BT, the Midas Travels Maelstrom. You just pick up an axe, just spawn DDs and bounty runes for your team on a 30-second cooldown.
Yeah, you can get a lot of work done with they're called power runes for a reason. You can get good work done with them. If an Arc's get on an illusion, that's shoving away fast. If it's got DD, then it's like, all right, let's find a kill, or rush or objectives doubly fast. Haste, you can just blitz with your illusion to find a support randomly and kill them. Same with Invis. Like it does enable him pretty well, really. Greeny, our resident Arc player, said it's OP.
It seemed OP in the game that we played, but I don't know if we were just, having
too far ahead or something.
Yeah.
Who knows? Moving on, Axe, not really relevant. This hero is trash. They increased his damage, his armor. They reworked his scepter to be AoE. We don't care.
Damn. But he can be naked.
He can. That's the cool part about Axe, is his cosmetics. Bane, they didn't really touch. The scepter reduces the cast point by 50%, so you get crazy brain saps. Batrider, they didn't really change. Beastmaster, wild axes have no cooldown. I played against this in a game today. It was weird, probably not worth it, but it was just annoying, but it wasn't good. Do you know what I mean? It's so what, you throw out a couple of extra axes in a fight, maybe 2 extra axes in a fight. I was underwhelmed personally.
But imagine being against a timber saw and then you just cut down all the trees.
Yeah, that's true. I hadn't thought about that. Rip trees.
I'd rather just spend 2,000 gold on Tangas and just go ham rather than 4,000 on Ags.
Yeah. Rupture's lethal again? Are we happy that Rupture's lethal again?
Yes.
Yeah. Even though I don't like Bloodseeker like at all, I am happy to see that Rupture is lethal. It felt like his hero and like the purpose of his hero was just taken away from him when you could run with Rupture and not die. So I'm happy for Bloodseeker and his family and friends.
So did they reduce the percent damage?
30, 45, 60. I don't know what it was before.
Yeah, I don't remember what it was.
It
either.
makes sense that they've reduced it to make it so that it's lethal. You know what I mean? To like balance it out. So that does make sense. Although I don't know. Maybe it's not. Looking further down, they changed some bounty hunter stuff. So it's a little bit less annoying in the lane.
Well, 10 damage reduction to Janara was pretty nothing.
Yeah. Primal Split Scepter gives Broodlings 100 move speed. That's just kind of funny.
That's sick. That's going to be so big, I think.
Yeah, maybe.
That's quite a lot of movement speed. 5 wind laces.
And you get the Ags gives the pandas more spells.
Or gives
them Thunderclap and the alcohol spray or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. That'd be interesting to see.
Yeah, so it buffs Ags on Panda.
I don't think I feel like Panda's so good with items that it's, you know, like big team items that splashing 4.2k on an Ags is a bit.
Yeah, it is strong. Maybe just. I feel like years ago, Brew getting Ags used to be pretty core. But now, yeah, these other items seem to be better, like team items. I'm not certain, not super familiar with where Brew is these days.
Adam, do you want to take us through this Broodmother?
Oh, I watched Bulldog play a game with it.
Oh yeah?
It seemed pretty crazy.
Max move speed. It sounds crazy to me.
He was moving around at about 700 move speed.
Jeez Louise.
You just don't ever have to worry about webs ever again, which seems really awesome.
Kind of scary stuff, to be honest.
I don't know. She was already so fast, and
yeah, that's true.
It's going to be so hard to catch up with a Broodmother if she has an Ags. Just like going over hills and stuff at 700 move speed. Not a lot of heroes can catch up with that. The more heroes that they like break the max move speed threshold for, it's just going to be really tough. Yeah,
and then you're going over terrain as well at that speed. Feels very hard to catch.
Yeah, it's an interesting one because Brood is a, in my opinion, Brood's a very item timing dependent hero. So I don't think that, and I don't think that Ags is good enough to warrant them slotting it in. You know, certainly before you've got the classic,
like
sort of diffusal Solar Crest BKB sort of thing.
Yeah.
So maybe that's like you see that on a third Roche when you've been carried by Brood, but then if you've got a Brood on your team on the third Roche, it's kind of not ideal. So we'll see.
My boy Centos got his base armor increased by 1. Let's go. My new offlane hero.
Insert taking no damage meme here.
yeah. Already being posted. Marco, honestly, you can take over from me for a bit if you want. You can look at, from CK onwards, you can skip or choose any heroes that you think worth going over.
CK's Chaos Bolt has improved, so its min damage is... So Chaos Bolt, the damage and stun duration is in a range, but now the range is just tighter. Cool. So, yeah, slight buff to Chaos Bolt. Will you see much Chaos Knight? Yeah, maybe this helps him come back a bit. His Phantasm Illusion incoming damage is now 180% from 260%, so his illusions of his ultimate are decently
That's
tanky.
only on Scepter, though.
Oh, it's only on Scepter. Okay, yeah, whatever. Garbage. Trash can.
No, it's good.
CK is not picking up Scepter, so it doesn't matter.
Be.
Maybe. I get mad. Blah, blah.
What about the FY support CK that picked up Ags?
Did that actually happen?
Yeah.
Famous game.
Casted it on a TB.
Yeah. I remember that. That was so fun. That was a sick game. Anyway, one thing I will say, early indication that these CK changes might be enough to tip him in. I watched a highlights of a series today between Team Spirit and EG. In the first game, Team Spirit pick CK as a carry and win.
Who played it?
Illidan.
I was going to say, I can absolutely see Illidan playing a CK because he just loves these kind of wonkier carry heroes. So I'm not taking that as justification that any other pro
what I was going to say is, in the second game, it was second phase banned by EG. So maybe that's just because they can't be because it's Illidan, but
yeah. We'll see.
Yeah.
There's some Chen changes. Who even knows what Chen spells do? I'll pay you money if you do, because I don't.
I mean, the only thing he could do before was enchant siege creeps, and now he can't do that. So what is he actually supposed to do?
So Divine Favor is now an aura that gives regen, heal, amp, and bonus damage. Sounds decent. Does anyone really see Chen ever? No, so...
4 HP regen seems so trash for level 7.
Yeah. Even the bonus damage, 16, level 7, I don't know. We never see Chen, so it doesn't really matter. Someone said Clinks' Axe was quite cool.
That was fun, yeah.
Creates 2 skeletons when he leaves Skeleton Walk, which is his invis spell. So it's just extra boom boom.
It's pretty good.
And no max movement speed. It gives an extra 30%, so it's 75% bonus move speed in Windwalk.
I think something like this could be legit because now it.
So I was.
Go on.
I was running around at about 700, I think 650 or so, with just that as like the only movement speed item. I think.
Yeah. So if you're strong and you get these Ags, which means you can burn around the map even faster, and then your kill potential is even stronger because of spawning these skeletons when you come out of Invis. That to me feels something that's it could be pretty legit.
Yeah, I think so. It's. Can you do something, Adam, where you're skeleton walking just before it's expired? You shoot someone, skeleton walk again, shoot them, and then you've got 4 skeleton dudes.
I would think that would work. Yeah, I haven't tried that, but
that seems pretty good.
Definitely would. And then they changed the burning armies so where it's like a bonus damage, like it's even more than your base damage at level 3 of the old. At level 18, it's 120% of your base.
That's rough.
So they did nerf the Searing Arrow's damage, but from the talent from 30 to 20 extra, but he felt pretty good. One cool thing is that he has 0.25 base mana regen, so that was really nice in lane. You can spam out more arrows.
Yeah, I don't want Clinks to come.
Yeah, I was going to say Stan's getting worried it might put him back into favor.
Yeah, I
thought you were going to say
max movement unlocked, which is really scary. Really scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can just ridicule games.
Too quick. And you can't even stun him because he disjoints the stuns with whatever his spell's called. Clonks.
I'll do the next few heroes quick, and there's a couple I'm interested in. So Clock, OP change, base armor increased by 1. Nice. Whatever. Crystal Maiden, so her other laughable change, attack point improved from 0.55 to 0.45. Who really cares? She attacks 41 damage or something. Get back in the bin. Darkseer, so I think here's one of the most significant changes out of all the heroes, and basically every hero's been touched up. Darkseer's talents have changed, so now at 20, he doesn't get his AoE surge. It's now at 25, you get AoE surge. And to me, I think this is really, really big because AoE surge, the potential of that spell is phenomenal, that you can give your whole team like 600 movement speed or whatever. I felt that's one of the strongest team spells ever. So that's good to see it be pushed back to 25. Dark Willow, so she's got a scepter. I've yet to do it in a match, but I really want to. Where you don't leave Shadow Realm. So you cast Shadow Realm and you start peppering these big magic bolts from afar. So a lot of damage potential there. I think that'll be pretty fun.
I think she's back, and it was bugged when we were playing with it yesterday, but it's probably already fixed.
You could go Ag second item on Willow.
Yeah, you could solo kill pretty much anybody with just that.
Yeah, I mean, so you're doing up to 360 magic damage, I think, eventually with your Shadow Realm. So, I mean, you can, with a bit of attack speed, you can accumulate like hundreds of magic damage from this Scepter upgrade. Really strong, I think. And then also at level 15, her gold talent's gone from 90 to 120. 33% increase of the gold talent. That's, I mean, give this hero a tomb, get to 15, get her an axe, and...
A what?
You're laughing. A tome.
A tomb?
A tombstone.
A tomb of knowledge. I used to get confused with what that was. Tome.
It's crazy because Dark Willow's already got bonkers burst damage with the combo. If you combo... We've all seen the famous sort of crit solo kill and all that stuff.
If you get a solo Bedlam on someone, you do like 1,000 plus damage.
Yeah, Bedlam.
No, it's Bedlam.
I'm actually being trolled right now.
Lamb of the bed.
You ooze into Bedlam.
Yeah, you ooze, and then you put down your Brumble Maze, and then you cast Bedlam.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was bugged last night. We were really stoked on trying out the Dark Willow, and it wasn't applying all the bonus damage. Like the player was attacking so fast that it wasn't updating the bonus. I think it's already fixed though, because I was watching streams today, and it seemed like Dark Willow was 100 to 0 people just off of Shadow Realm hits.
Yeah. Death Prophet. I'll take over briefly and then I'll hand over to Adam for some later ones. I played a Death Prophet today and built Ags. Yay for me. So anytime an enemy is affected by your spells, Crypt Swarm, Impact, Silence Debuff, Spirit Siphon, or when you attack an enemy, a ghost, or in my case a butterfly, shout out to my cosmetics, will fly out and hit the enemy for double the usual damage, then return to you with life, which is a weird way of saying it will do the heal, like the classic Exorcism heal. The ghosts apply a 100% slow for 0.3 seconds. I was originally skeptical about this, but having tried it, I actually think it's pretty good, and I actually think that Ags will be part of the Death Prophet. A 5-slotted Death Prophet probably has the Ags in there.
I would agree, yeah. I think it's a good Aghanims for her to pick up.
Yeah, I think you still want yours. I went yours Aghanims. I think it was too early for the Ags in that case, for me. Not that the game I played should particularly be used as evidence.
Yeah, when you struggle to use spells, the Ags is less effective, so...
Yeah, that's a true point. Right, that's pretty harsh.
You need a refresher shot or something. Get those spells being used.
Well, I don't use them enough once. If I've got them twice, there's even less chance that I'll use all of them.
But maybe use Q, then refresh a shot and Q again, and 2's better than 1.
True, and I get 2 butterfly ghosts for each Crypt Swarm now with the Ags, so that's pretty nice. Yeah, this is an interesting one. Another thing that I thought is underrated is it actually makes you farm so much faster. Every right click you do a ghost damage thing. And if you Crypt Swarm, which you will be if you're farming, every single unit you hit with that Crypt Swarm is done basically a right click's worth of damage, there or thereabouts. So it actually increases your farm speed a load.
I did not realize this applied on auto attack as well. That's pretty wild.
Yeah, it does seem pretty good. Moving downwards, they've added a creep level limit of 3, 4, 5, 6 to Devour. I mean, I don't want to have to know what level neutral creeps are, but I guess I have to now with Chenna and Doom.
Isn't it level 5, the big creep? So like your Wild Kings and your Tomato Birds, aren't they level 5?
I think they might be level 6.
Really, 6?
I believe so, yeah.
God, if that's the case, then Devour's dumpstered. I mean, I guess a lot of people were maxing W, so maybe aren't too fussed. But I guess, I mean, well, in the casual value point in Devour is now Omega nerfed because you usually just get a value point and get like a Satyr or one of these big creeps and get Omega value, but now you wouldn't be able to do that. So
not immediately anyway.
Yeah, unless you max the Devour. So I think it's a pretty sizable nerf, one of the most significant in this patch.
I think so. You still get the regeneration from the Devour, which at level 2 is 8. That's a lot. If you choose to go that route, level 3, you can have 8 passive 8 HP regen and 16 when you stack it, which you will be able to do because it lasts 80 seconds and it's on a 60-second cooldown, so you have 20 seconds of overlap where it's 16. So Devour is still good.
Yeah, the hero's still strong, it's just not as...
You can't... Yeah, Satyr Tormentor is level 6. You can't get that till level 7 as Satyr.
Yeah, that is actually a big nerf when you put it like that, because that's the crazy HP regen and Hadoken, sure, that is cool.
And the Mind Stealer is level 4, so the blue one, so you can't even get that one until level 3.
You have to basically take a lane creep until it's level 3.
Or a Satyr Banisher, which is the Purge one. The little... Right. He's level 2.
Trek it over to the site, to the small camp.
Get a kobold going.
Yeah.
Let me look up Harpy Stormcrafter, because this is actually a big deal. Okay, Harpy Stormcrafter is level 3, so you can get it at level 1 and spam somebody down with Chain Lightning. So the Doom Coddle Lane, it's still in effect. It's still
Moving downwards. Is it a bird? Is it a plane? No, it's a black dragon.
Drogon?
It's a black Drogon. Dragon Knight has a scepter, and it makes him into a massive, really cool 4th level Elder Dragon, black dragon. It basically buffs all the stuff he's already got. 50% more corrosive damage. The splash is huge. I tested it in demo. The splash, I can confirm, is huge. Not quite a puddle, which we'll be getting on later, but it's a big splash. And the slow amount is also increased by 50%. Your attack range is increased to 600 and grants you 30% magic resistance. I haven't seen this in a game yet, so I don't know what the deal is with this. It seems like Death Prophet, this will definitely be in the 5 or 6 slotted Dragon Knight kit.
I think so.
Yeah. Have you seen it in action at all, Adam, or are you still...
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It was pretty cool. It was pretty good. It was the same game as the Ags AM as well.
Oh, right.
It felt really good, or it looked really good, and then I saw Bulldog test it in a lobby, and that looked pretty solid. I mean, it was like 60% or 60 move speed slow more just off of the slow component, and that seems good enough with the magic resist, and then you add in the splash damage.
Yeah, the splash is actually really quite a large amount. It's already a surprising amount on the level 3 Elder Dragon, so being 50% more than that is definitely noticeable.
The corrosive was kind of meh, but it's good for sieging towers, but it's not going to do anything to a hero late game.
Yeah. Last change that I will intro is Drow Ranger. This is a big one that a lot of people were looking forward to, or certainly preparing for, and that's Drow Ranger nerfs, and Ice Rock certainly delivered. Marksmanship no longer instantly kills Ancients, and Marksmanship now only pierces base armor and not total armor. Rip Drow, I think.
She's dead.
She's dead, yeah. This is like... They only needed to do one of these changes, and it probably would have nerfed Drow a lot. Both of them?
I think you could still see Drow lineups, it's just that you won't see her first picked in all your pubs.
I think the second line kills her.
Yeah. I mean...
Oh, what? Only piercing base armor, not total armor?
Yeah, she tickles everybody except for Morphling and TB, pretty much.
But because everyone's going to buy armor until late game.
Yeah, but I mean...
Oh, wait, does base armor mean your...
Base armor means stat armor.
Yeah,
and not
what you get from items.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that second line isn't that bad because to me, armor items like if you think about ACs or Shivas, I mean there aren't
phase boots, whatever.
Armor's only an issue really for these agi heroes that get it through the attribute, which would therefore be base armor.
I think phase boot armor is enough just to
Really?
dumpster.
I do think the first line as well it's such a huge part of Drow's kit to be able to one-shot Ancients.
Yeah, that's obviously huge.
I think it means that it's way more punishing to run a Drow Ranger that is in a weak lane because particularly one-shotting Ancients is just the ultimate comeback mechanic, particularly because often when you're ahead, there's objectives to push on the map as well. But when Drow Ranger's behind, sort of what makes the hero so good is you're never really behind because you just escape into a triangle. Maybe even you have a couple of stacks on the Ancients and it's like nothing ever, it's like you never lost a lane. So I do think that's a massive nerf. Like I said, huge part of the kit, and now that's gone.
She does still do it to Roche, it looks like.
What do you mean does it
damage.
Right. I thought you
not
were
one-shotting.
Yeah, I was like, what? Still does it to Roche.
But they didn't get rid of that on Roche, at least, so she can take that pretty fast. And you're just going to have to run dedicated lineups with her that get the attack speed. I always thought that she was most powerful in what she gives to a team rather than what she does herself.
Yeah.
But she definitely is a lot worse now in terms of what she can actually provide in the fight.
I mean, I think it just goes back to old Dro. Before this Dro patch, you wouldn't really see Dro, but you would see her come out in these Dro lineups where you've got 5 range heroes pushing. I think we're now just back to that, really, and it's like, yeah, it's fine.
Well, before this Dro patch was the TI8 patch, and Drow Ranger was a top tier carry in that patch as well.
Was she?
Yeah, she's first picked by most teams in TI8.
I can't remember Dro at TI8.
Like Weaver Dro lineups every game. That was TI8.
What was it? You'd have Weaver and like Puck off lane. That was nice, I feel.
Yeah, and certain teams were addicted to Drow Ranger, like Forward Gaming, that did quite well, and EG loved it with the S4 Weaver. OG did it, liked it as well. Anyway, Adam, you can run through some from here that you think are worth talking about or not talking about.
Well, we're gonna hit everyone that actually did get an Ag. So, Elder Titan's Ags gives spell immunity during your Echo Stomp, which is cool because you can't get your channel interrupted, and then you get 2 seconds of additional magic immunity for every enemy hero you hit with a stomp. And it's pretty fun to try that out in a demo mode because you just make 1,000,000 axes and then you stomp them and then you have just permanent magic immunity. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know what to make of Elder Titan. Ever since they split up his armor reduction and magic immunity or magic resistance reduction, they split up it from the spirit or whatever. It just doesn't seem as good as it used to be. And he wasn't really ever getting gold. So it seems kind of cool, but probably not one of the best Ags, if I had to guess.
He's a weird hero.
Have not seen Ember Spirits in action, but it seems very strong in a vacuum.
Seems kind of bonkers, yeah.
Yeah, his Fire Remnant cast range is 3 times longer. The movement speed of the Remnant is 2 times faster. You get 2 extra charges, so now you have 5 charges. And what might be even the biggest part is that the active for jumping to a Remnant costs no mana, which it used to be like at least 100.
It was 150, yeah.
Yeah, he does not have a whole lot of mana, so I think this just makes Ember like super, super active, super fast around the map, even more so. And I could see magic damage Ember being even more popular.
Yeah. So, magic damage. It doesn't really affect the physical one because it's like, well, you got more remnants. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah, no, this is like a Maelstrom Radiance type of Ember. So, yeah. And then eventually, like, sometimes they go Octarine, and then you also have the 25 talent that makes your remnants come back even faster. Some crazy amount of reduction. So yeah, definitely a hyper aggressive. I kind of want to see how fast. I mean, even when you're slowed as an Ember and you throw out your remnant and it doesn't move.
So
this could actually be kind of cool if it's 2 times faster.
Interestingly, it means that you go to the remnant at the same speed as the remnant's pushed out. So if you instantly remnant if you remnant and then instantly jump to remnant, like the split second after you've cast remnant, you'll still travel the full distance of the remnant.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, so that's kind of interesting. So yeah, well, that's one to look out for. Maybe it gets built, maybe it doesn't.
Definitely one to try.
Grimstroke, is this one any good?
Yeah, it was really good.
What heroes did you use it against?
So I used it against primarily a troll and an Ursa.
I can imagine it being good against troll.
So you get a new ability called Dark Portrait, and you make an ink illusion of an enemy hero. It's a targeted ability, which means if you soulbind and then do it, you get 2 illusions. They last 20 seconds and are magic immune, so they can't be hexed or mana drained or like immediately popped.
You can't disable them with stuns.
They get 30% bonus move speed. They take 200% damage, so that's pretty tanky for an illusion. And then they deal 150% damage. So they do extra damage.
Yeah.
The cooldown is super low. It's 35 seconds for them to last 20 seconds. And they felt very strong. I mean, in a team fight, I solo killed an Ursa with the illusions once. And then another time he was enraged, and I still dealt like 300 damage through enrage to an Ursa, which is, I mean, he's got what, 80% damage reduction in enrage or something.
Yeah.
So they seem pretty good. You also have to micro them. It's not like a thing where you cast it and then they just like chase. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like you get 2 units that you have to control. But
that's interesting.
I don't know. Grim gets a gold talent at 10, and he can farm pretty fast. And outside of like, I don't know, Aether Lens or Spirit Vessel, I mean, he can build pretty much anything. But this seems like if your enemy has a Luna or a Morphling or a TB or something, it seems like the type of ability that you would want to have on your team.
Yeah.
Yeah, because then you just have it. You can just have it right-click enemy supports, and they can't run away from it, and they can't disable it. So they're kind of destined to die unless the enemy team deals with it, and that's a big distraction. If you don't deal with it, you're probably losing heroes. So yeah,
and also, I guess they would provide the aura too. So, right, if you make a Luna, you're all going to get the Lunar Blessing bonus and stuff like that.
You'd think so, yeah. I think we can skip to Io maybe briefly. Added to Captain's Mode. They didn't even really nerf him. Tether can be interrupted if stunned during it. Marco, do you think that's kind of relevant, right?
I felt like that was fairly significant.
Yeah.
So
now, is that okay? It's just the tether pull, not the actual tether. Okay.
No, yeah. So you tether to an enemy hero, to an ally hero, but now you can be like, if you are stunned or disabled during that pull, like when you latch it onto someone, you'll be stopped. And I mean, that's many kills that will now be secured that wouldn't have been secured in the past. So I think it's a good change to weaken IO.
Yeah. The Scepter upgrade is so bad that we're not going to talk about it.
Spirits now passively spawn around you
so bad.
every second.
Yeah, seems bad.
Seems real bad. But could you imagine if they made Tether disconnect if you got stunned? That would actually just send Io to the Shadow Realm. Like, he would not be able to be played at all.
Yeah, that'd be awful. Do we think Io? Last word on Io. Do we think this hero is in its current form? So I know they'll micro manage and tweak, but do you think this is first ban IO's broken? Or
We'll see. I think it's pickable.
It's hard to say.
Hard to say. I reckon you'll see it picked because it just always is so popular and effective at the highest level.
They did make the cooldown on relocate a lot longer, so maybe that's enough to keep it under check. Because I definitely think we'll see it. Because I want to see that new overcharge in a pro game for sure.
Yeah, so do I. It'll be interesting.
Yeah, some teams will let it through, and then you'll see how it does.
Keeper of the Light has got a new scepter. Oh wait, this smells like the old scepter. Now causes Illuminate to not require channeling. And indeed, Chakra Magic is back to being Mana Drain. Or, well, is both, now Mana Drain.
Well, it's both offensive and...
Yeah, it's both,
Yeah.
Interesting. Keeper of the Light's an underrated support, I think.
What did Keeper's Scepter do before?
He didn't have one. They took it out.
Well, the way that's worded makes it seem like it used to do something.
Oh, maybe it did.
It says Scepter now also. Like, what did it do before? Because I don't remember.
Maybe it's to do with heal bonus. It says bracket still provides heal bonus.
Oh, yeah. Maybe that was what... Because it definitely wasn't picked.
Yeah.
I think
I like it.
Daytime vision thing was removed.
Yeah. I do like that you cannot... Like, you can use the spell without channeling. That was always so big for a keeper.
Yeah, it's nice. Legion, armor by 1, Lich, bit of regen, strength gain on Lena, Finger of Death stacks 10 less. Lone Druid's a weird hero, lunar damage increased by 4, and then Lycan, added scepter upgrade, causes one of the 3 ways to include 2 wolves. You cannot control the wolves, but they are considered your units. These wolves have the same movement speed as lane creeps. What? This is a weird one.
I think for a trash can. I mean, me, just not worth your gold in my eyes.
4,200 gold for
it's
2
bad.
wolves in a random lane. Yeah, it's like, what?
If the wolves were invulnerable, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, that would be cool,
like,
yeah.
Or like if they didn't give gold. Even just if they didn't give gold, you're giving 160 gold like every...
Yeah, it's so bad when you put it like that. Yeah. Yeah, maybe Ice Frog was just scared because he was like, Lycan, this hero's too good in pubs. We don't want to give him an abusable ags.
Well, yeah, he's too good in pubs, so we'll give him an item which people might think is good, but actually is negative value, so we'll decrease his win rate a little.
For sure, yeah.
Or if you had the 25 talent that gave you 3 extra wolves, like if it spawned 5 wolves, that'd be pretty good. But
that'd be interesting.
It does not do that, so...
Yeah.
It's bad.
Yeah.
It might be the worst one out of the whole bundle.
I mean, the Magnus Aghanims with his shockwave is also so... I feel so bad. It just makes you want to cry. That shockwave thing, it's just so embarrassing.
But that's not new, though.
It's not new,
I'm talking about the new X.
Yeah, it's not new. It's just that it's been slightly buffed. Because it's just the next bullet point.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I know 1,500 speed's pretty good.
Woohoo, yeah. A faster shockwave going in and out. Woo. 4,000 gold. Woo. Honestly, it's just a joke. I think that Ags on Magnus.
I think you're underrating the amount of damage it puts out. It's a lot of damage. And it one-shots quick creep waves.
I mean, it comes back.
I think a Quelling Blade also, and level 4 Empower, like 2 shots creep wave, so...
True.
I'm not sold.
I mean, Magnus could think about what a mag can do with 4,000 gold as well.
That's a blank and force.
Yeah.
Yeah, my god. What's on it? That, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, Mars. Added to Captain's Mode. Base damage reduced by 4, base armor reduced by 1, and he's now got... Scepter upgrade, which means God's Rebuke cooldown is 1.4 during Arena of Blood, and resets its cooldown when you enter Arena of Blood, so you can smash someone, Arena of Blood, smash them again immediately, and then smash them again 1.4 seconds later.
That sounds absurd.
I mean, it's tasty when you get to level 25 and you get the talent that buffs your God's Rebuke. If you're not 25, the Ags isn't worth it. So like most heroes, it's just relevant to the super late game scenario.
Does the damage and armor reduction hurt the hero?
Yeah, that obviously hurts 4 base damage. That's not too bad because you're always going to get a Quelling Blade. Base armor by 1. That's, to be honest, not too bad either. It's a little bit sad, but not too bad. His ult is a fair bit worse. So the damage at levels 1 and 2 is worsened. I think it's really sad because it's 30 less, 150 to 120 at level 1, and you're really relying on your ult damage to get you these early game kills. But then also the cast point is increased from 0.1 to 0.2, so that means landing your Arena of Blood in time is a little bit harder. So that's a bit sad because, yeah, you're gonna find it's slightly harder to land these kills with your ult in the early game. But yeah, he's not been butchered or anything, so that's at least something.
Yep. Skipping further down, quick crocodile tears from me or just genuine tears. Meepo didn't get his Ags touched, which was super sad because Meepo Ags is trash.
What is it?
Meepo Ags, it gives you an extra Meepo.
Nice.
No one ever picks it up because it's just...
Why do you need an extra Meepo?
You don't need it, yeah. Monkey King has a really weird up scepter. It literally just spawns a monkey next to you every 3.5 seconds. I did it in demo mode. It's just weird. It's pretty good. I mean, if you can sustain in fights, you're going to get a couple of these dudes out.
But then there's often so much shit in fights that, like...
Yeah, 4.2k
what's
gold
this soldier
again.
going to be hitting? Like, just starts slapping a creep during this team fight. Like, who cares?
It's definitely a weird one. And it's like you use your ult and you've got like 20 of the monkey dudes. So get the extra one.
Maybe in a 30-second team fight in the concentrated area, you've got 9 monkey boys now slapping out some slaps here and there. But again, 4.2k for this item. No thanks. I don't think it'll ever be picked up.
Yeah. Morphling, added scepter upgrade. While morphed, you gain 35% cooldown reduction, 50 mana cost reduction, and 600 cast range. Adam, your big brain, do you have any big brain things to say about this or not?
I'm sure it can be abused. I don't know. I haven't thought of some huge combo.
Yeah.
Maybe you just want to be Leshrac. I don't know.
Yeah,
well,
maybe,
I guess you don't get his ult.
You don't get Pulse Nova, yeah. So I guess you don't want to be Leshrac.
This would be viable if it was like 1,000 gold, maybe.
Yeah, and when I read this, I just thought it's Ice Frog going, sweaty Morphling players have this. I'm mildly interested to watch a YouTube compilation in about a month's time, see what you can come up with.
I do think Morph is significantly worse, though, because they nerfed Adaptive Strike, which makes his laning, especially mid, worse.
Yeah, that's true.
100 to 70 is not too bad because you're using that
hitting range creeps.
Yeah, 70 still, because it's 70 plus a little bit of agi stuff already. So
yeah, but the bigger one is Morph not dispelling your hero.
Yeah, that's very, very big. Yeah.
So, because apparently you can morph back and forth and dispel yourself. Is that?
Well, yeah, you just had everything reset, HP, mana.
No,
and then
debuffs. No, but as in, it wasn't you could morph in and out and dispel yourself. You morphed into the hero, you wouldn't have any debuffs.
Right.
But if you morph back into yourself, the debuffs would be where they would have been if you hadn't morphed.
Oh, okay. You know what I mean? But that was still very big.
Yeah, it's still really big, yeah. Because you effectively dispel yourself because most debuffs are going to have ended by the time if you spent, say, a couple of seconds or 3 seconds in someone else's form.
Yeah, true.
So, Night Stalker, Adam, you're a Night Stalker player.
I have not seen it, but it sounds so good. I want to try it so bad because 900 AoE Void is awesome.
That's quite a big AoE, 900.
Long mini. It's not even a mini stun either. It's like it says it increases the mini stun from 0.1 to 0.6. That's like not a mini stun anymore, right?
Yeah, it's a small stun.
A small stun.
A small, low cooldown as well, reducing cooldown by 2 seconds.
Yeah, and apparently it's the same AOE as the crippling fear around you. So AOE silence and then that void is pretty cool.
That's cool. I would have thought it'd be bigger than the Crippling Fear.
Yeah, I would have thought it'd be way bigger. Crippling
That's
Fear.
just what someone told me, but now
Crippling
that
Fear
you
is definitely not 900. Yeah,
yeah, it's definitely not 900. So they were wrong.
900 is more than a ranged hero's, like 50% more than a ranged hero's attack range.
Yeah,
And then that's the radius around the
900%
body.
big.
That's crazy big.
900 AOE Void. That's huge.
That's like-
Just like
that's
the
like a
level 25
scream.
AA talent.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I want to try that next game, I think.
Yeah. Omni Knight has not only global Guardian Angel, but now 40 HP regen a second. Doesn't really change.
Yeah.
We have
40 is
3
quite a
heroes
lot.
that heal buildings now.
Oh yeah? What, that being Omni Knight, Lich with the 25, and Tree?
Yeah, I think that's right.
Stan God Gamer.
Yeah. I was so happy when I saw this OD change, even though it's not... Just the fact that it passively provides mana steal. I don't know if you guys can help me out with this one, but what I want to know is, at level 4 Equilibrium, do I have to press Equilibrium at any more to sustain my mana? Or am I only pressing it to slow heroes? Because I don't want to have to manage my mana usage as OD in the mid and late game particularly.
When you get it level 4, I don't think you could sustain off your Q, because I don't think your Q will be doing enough damage until mid game. But then all you do is just do a W and it's back. So I don't think it's definitely not as AFK gaming as it used to be, when it was this like guaranteed just you can arcane it up forever. But I think it is still a very small amount of brain power needed to keep 100% mana pool. So
Yeah.
I'm with you that, yeah, this is a very nice quality of life improvement for playing OD.
It's definitely nice. The worst thing about OD is when you don't quite have enough mana, or you don't have enough mana to get you from one astral with Equilibrium to the next if you want to keep using your Q. So that's a bad feeling, but I think you probably will now. You know, like enough, not enough to sustain purely by itself, but definitely enough to get you to a point where you can use W and E again. So, has anyone seen this Pangolier upgrade? It sounds weird.
Yeah.
Does it look as weird as it sounds?
It looks pretty weird. But you can definitely tell what's going to happen to you. You're going to die, So
it casts a 2-second swashbuckle.
2 attack swashbuckle.
2 attack swashbuckle. So can you... What is it then? You press shield crash, and then a little mini double swashbuckle happens.
And an X around you.
An X around you. That's so bizarre.
And it's 2-second cooldown at level 15, right? If you get the 2-second shield crash while in ball. Yeah. It was really good.
Sounds wacky, yeah. Does it hit people?
Yeah, it was a lot of damage. I mean, you can't silence heroes now, but he still took over the game, and it was like, great, really nice to see Pango is just as good as he used to be. I thought not being able to silence now was going to be pretty solid, but nope, he's still Pango.
Yeah. Marco, thoughts on this PA scepter?
I think it's trash can. Why is a PA getting ags? Just offers nothing to you. The fact that it sounds cool that, you kill someone and you get your spells reset, but Blink and Dagger have like 4, 5, maybe 6 second cooldown anyway. It's really not an issue. The instant blur is really nice, but let's not pay 4,000 gold to go from like 0.2 second blur to 0 second blur. So yeah.
It applies a dispel.
I hope he gives one. We don't care. We PA pickers don't care. I think this is one of the worst acts.
Marco considers himself a PA picker, Omega Lol.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not actually a PA picker. I think this is terrible.
I think you get this first item.
What, actually?
No.
Alright.
This is just another case of, 8th item. Let's go.
Yeah.
In my eyes. 9th item, maybe 10th behind Beauty Travels 2.
I think you get 3rd item this, honestly. I think it's actually pretty decent.
Which bit is decent?
All of it. It's a lot of stuff altogether.
And the dispel thing is like kind of nice, but I think if you should have a BKB and
Imagine throwing out triple stifling daggers, getting kills, and just throwing them out and jumping and jumping. It's like it's a game closing item.
I think a nullifier or abyssal would be what you need. I think this item could be picked up in some Clownfest game, but other than that, I don't think it's a serious
Well, that's all
item.
I'm wanting.
Yeah. That's what Adam's hoping for. You can now Sunray during Supernova. Bit weird. Oh, only with Scepter.
That seems pretty cool, though.
It's cool.
A bit weird, yeah.
It's just sun turret.
It'd be cool if you could cast all your spells during it. That would be cool.
Oh, a diving
Diving
supernova.
egg,
That'd be
yeah.
fucking sick.
Just getting your spirits off.
Yeah. I mean, I honestly rate this Razor change. I had the Storm Scepter 2 different unit strikes instead of 1 and affects buildings. Razor Ags was already okay, and now it's twice as good, right?
The reason I don't rate it is that I think Razor Ags is picked up only ever for the purpose of pushing. So I don't think the fact that you now get 2 targets changes that.
Yeah,
because when you're pushing, you're just hitting a tower. Maybe you hit 2 racks, but that doesn't really matter either.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, it doesn't affect... If you're picking it up for pushing, then yeah, sure, because it doesn't really affect pushing much.
And then I think it's too unreliable to be valuing fighting and skirmishes.
Yeah.
Maybe it's brokenly good against Syllabur or something. Lone Druid.
Oh, time to discuss Puddle Man.
Puddle Man.
Do you want to run us through this Puddle stuff, Adam? On Slardizzle.
So when you Slithering Crush, he makes a puddle of water, and it's considered a river for bonuses. And provides 25 HP regen, 12 armor, 40 status resistance while in a puddle or river.
That's a lot of
in addition to the normal sprint bonuses. And the puddle is 550 AoE, which is huge.
It's big, yeah.
And lasts for 25 seconds. So this is like, I watched Gork use it, and it's like, go up to a tower, you Slithering Crush the tower, and then you just have this puddle that you can just sit in.
Yeah. Mark, are you theory crafting about this tank Slardar?
Yeah, man, I think Slardar now, if you say get Blink, if you had a Crimson, let's say you had a Blink, Ags, even just those 2 items, but then say you build items like Crimson or Pipe or whatever, if you blink into a fight and slap down a big fat puddle, just chilling that, enemy team's going to struggle to kill you with that armor and HP regen and status resistance. Like, you're just going to be a menace in that area, so then your team just fights with you in and around the puddle. You'll be getting enemy tears joining that puddle pretty soon. So
yeah,
I think it's one of the most legit Ags.
Yeah, quite possibly. Spectre, you can solo Haunt on someone.
Nah.
Yeah, it seems a bit crap. 4.2k gold is better spent elsewhere on Spectre, I'm pretty sure, than a single Haunt.
Yeah,
because you need vision as well to press it on them.
I don't know, it seems good to me.
You reckon?
I mean, it seems like it could be good.
Yeah.
It's not like, I mean, once you have your levels and your tankiness, could be okay. Or maybe if you go aggressive, I mean, I don't know.
It's so much gold.
Have Alk give it to you, then you're fine.
Yeah. Like all these.
I think you skip Slark, though. I think that's a pretty big change
Slark
on his passive regen at level 6.
True,
Went
yeah.
from 3% to 5%. It's as good as the level 12 was before. I hope we don't see Slark, but he got better attack speed as well. So
yeah, 20 attack speed. Yeah, it's worth going back for, probably. To at least name check that Slark might be making his way back.
Yeah, I don't want to see it, but
I'd rather see Slark than Clinks, but I don't want to see either. 2 crazy Ags in a row with TA and Terrorblade. TA grants you a new ability, Psionic Projection. Allows you to teleport to any Psionic trap after a 2-second channel. Does not break meld. Cooldown 30 seconds. Mana cost 100. Detonates the Psionic trap on arrival.
oh wow, that's such a pog. I didn't see that at the end. Yeah, that's really good.
It's so weird. TA can teleport around the map now, kind of. I mean, I don't... Marco, you played a TA today. It's not like... It's gimmicky.
It's a little bit gimmicky. It's not the worst ags we've seen added. Again, yeah, it's expensive, so what item are you picking this ahead of? Not really sure, but then, again, like the rush change, and if maybe a Scepter's dropped and no one else really has a good ags, you could get given it. It could... I can see it being this ninja sniper tool where you've got 2 traps, one for vision, and you see a support heading in one direction, and you've got the second trap waiting a bit further on, TP to it, and get this booming meld, sonic trap business going on. That's a bit of potential. Like you mentioned, the split pushing idea that's probably the stronger part to it, that you a bit more global mobility maybe. But yeah, it's
Your
expensive.
nature's profit.
Yeah, it's still expensive.
You can double meld.
Yeah, you can double meld. 2 seconds is quite a long time, though, for the channel.
It's shorter than nature's, though.
True, yeah, it's shorter than nature's, yeah. But then it's like you only really want to use it for nuking, really. I suppose split pushing, you can do a job.
Yeah, I think you could be a really good split pusher with it.
There may be some games where you don't need any more damage, but the enemy is this really nuisance split pushing team, so you go for this to help you cope with it.
Yeah. TB, reflection no longer affects illusion, so your game lags less. TB versus PL is less bonkers. I actually rate this Scepter upgrade. So, Metamorphosis, a wave travels outwards in all directions, causing enemy heroes to become feared for 3 seconds upon impact. The wave travels after 0.6 seconds and has a travel speed of 1,000, and it doesn't go through PKB. I tested this in demo. The wave's huge. It goes out for ages.
Yeah, I think this is really strong.
I'm scared of the TB Ag's sort of 6th, 5th item.
Yeah, late game, it's just handy game winning. So you think of it like a AoE deafening blast around the Terrorblade, and then when it hits you, feared for 3 seconds. That's 3 seconds of running away uncontrollably. You could then get just controlled and just slapped down by Terrorblade in 3 seconds for certain.
Yeah, I just imagine a scenario where you jump on a TB to gank him and he metas, and then you all run away. And he just
turns
all
1v5.
of you. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. That's kind of scary.
The reflection, to me, that could be a bit of a plus against the illusion heroes like PL or Naga in terms of being able to identify them using reflection. So if you,
I think it was really bad. We picked it into a Luna, and then you can't reflect the Luna illusions. It felt so sad.
Yeah, but just think of the heroes where you have loads of illusions and can lose track of the real one. You now would be able to identify it. It's a little bit helpful.
I'll be interested to see what happens to TB, because I think for the first time in a long time, he's not an S tier carry. Certainly he's not picked, at all. The last sort of month, he hasn't been picked at all. And on the face of it, he hasn't been buffed here because he's buffed an Ags upgrade, which is not really a direct buff to his kit. I'll be really interested to see just how good this Ags is and whether it's enough that teams will pick this TB with a 5-slotted, 6-slotted TB timing in mind. Perhaps not, because obviously Metamorphosis is an awfully long cooldown, so you won't get too many fear usages out of it. But I'll be interested to see what happens to TB. So moving on, almost there. A few more heroes to touch. Tiny.
This was sick.
His is funny.
Yeah. He channels
throws trees.
Yeah, he throws trees. Literally channels tree volley, and every 0.4 seconds, a random tree within 525 range of your hero will be thrown towards the target AoE. Deals 120% of your damage in that area. This can't be good. Don't tell me this is good, please.
It was good.
Oh no.
In the game that we played, it's just so much damage.
12 cooldown.
Yeah, it's
imagine
slow.
getting sprouted as Nature's Prophet sprouts you, and you just turn around and bop him with all of his own trees he made.
Yeah.
I think it is good damage because Tiny's base damage already is high, and then it's 120% of that. And then you can throw 6 potentially 6 trees in the duration, and it'll do AoE damage, all of them in an area. You could do several hundred damage from that, and it's 12-second cooldown. It's not terrible.
Touch on Tree and Protector quickly. Nature's Guy has been reworked. So now a self-cast ability with a 0.6 second cast time, no longer a fade delay, nor gets interrupted on damage taken, goes on cooldown after the invisibility buff ends. 10-second cooldown, scaling 2 seconds down to 4, with a mana cost as well, a low mana cost, 30, 40, 50, 60. Damage has been rescaled from 30, basically it's been buffed. The damage at level 1 is 60 rather than 30. The move speed is slightly buffed at low levels as well. But it's worth saying, with the fade, it doesn't have a fade delay, so as soon as you step out of the trees, it instantly goes. So you can't get those sort of... Used to when you played Tree, you'd have Nature's Guys active. You could walk up to someone in the lane and punch them, whereas you can't really do that now unless they're sort of next to the trees. But having said that, 60 damage at level 1 bonus from Nature's Guys, when you can spam it every 10 seconds, that seems kind of good to me. I don't know what your thoughts are, Adam.
I have no idea. It could be. I guess I have to see how long that you can walk without it popping. I know he doesn't have much of a mana pool at all, so it seems like it'd be a lot of mana.
I played with a Tree in a game today. He was supporting me, and so I mean, Tree's got 90 base damage already or something, so plus 60 from level 1. Every 10 seconds, he's doing a big whack on an enemy hero, and it looked pretty significant. I quite liked it, honestly.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see. Troll Warlord can now target allies or indeed enemies with Battle Trance. That's what his Scepter upgrade is. Does this have any utility on this hero?
I mean, you can do some sick saves. You can also do really sick disables by stopping enemy heroes casting spells or items because they're in a trance. Otherwise, okay, cooldown's lower. That's kind of nice, but again, it's just going to be one of these. He gets it from the Rosh pickup, or it's an uber late game kind of game.
Support Troll, cast it on a Husker.
Oh, yeah, that's a thought actually. Huskar Troll combo. You'd need to get Ags first though, so it's a bit rough on the support Troll, but maybe. That's one for a turbo or something like that.
Sure, turbo games have just been buffed massively after this patch, and that's it.
Yeah.
I just imagine like a last half duration on enemies. Does that mean you just cast it on an enemy and then everyone runs and just drags him way out of position? Is that the goal?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Or imagine if you casted it on just any support that relies on using spells. They're totally taken out of fight.
Also, if you just cast it, if you get it and cast it on an enemy, not in a fight, just when you see them, like you just see an enemy in range, you imagine the initiation of a Troll Warlord.
To then bring them, it's just like Bat Rider pull.
You're like a position 3 Troll Warlord who goes blink Ags. Yeah, exactly, like the initiation of blinking. You don't even have to blink in for a lasso, you just have to blink for whatever the range is, which is 525, so I guess it is short. So you have to blink quite close.
That's pretty long.
Well, yeah, it's long enough.
A ranged right click.
Yeah, you blink ult one of the enemies who then chases you straight into the grips of your teammates. That could be...
That's pretty funny.
Interesting.
Bat Rider 2.0.
Yeah. That'd be an interesting one to see.
Then I'll just end up casting it on a Morphling and then he'll 1v5 the whole team.
Yeah, bait yourself. So minor changes to Underlord and Undying.
Yeah, also on the Troll, I think there's nice grief potential. Say like Enigma cast Black Hole and you pop a trance on him and he starts right-clicking instead. Stuff like that. TP out, nope.
Yeah. Vengeful Spirit Swap is now bug-proof. The weird bugs that were weird.
I mean, that's not a bug. That's just like quality of life to Heralds and...
What? Heralds? Well, it happened at... Pros have done it. That's why it's been
accidentally
changed.
Double swap them.
Yeah, because if you double click it, you do it twice. So as in, if you're wasn't the case
right?
anymore, but it used to be the case where if you were running towards a hero, you weren't in range, you clicked nether swap on them twice, and then took your hands off the keyboard. Once you were in range for nether swap, you do a double nether swap. So like Chalice and some people did it in pro games, and then which is what made it the feature, quote unquote, come to prominence. I guess why they've changed it.
Yeah, fair.
It's a bit weird. Warlock. Chaotic Offering Scepter now lands the second golem 0.4 seconds after the first, rather than both at the same time. You get 0.4 seconds more of stun in a massive AoE. That's pretty good. I mean, I know it's only short.
Okay, it's only short.
It's a huge AoE. We all know Warlock Ags is pretty good already. And Warlock is definitely a hero, I think, that you will see teams give the Ags upgrade to when it's dropped in the picks. It is one of the better ones.
Yeah, he's always been a very good Ags carry.
Especially when there's refresher shards knocking about as well. It's like I said at the top of the show, if you get Ags refresher on this Warlock, you've basically won, I think. It's one of the most bonkers Ags refreshers ever. You can't lose a fight.
I think Warlock is back.
Yeah, I hope so, because I quite like him.
The Fatal Bonds change is huge.
Yeah, as in what part of it is huge?
Well, just that it hits... it's 6 at all levels, so now it hits the entire creep wave plus both heroes at level 1.
Wow, that is quite big, actually. I hadn't thought of that.
I mean, it's only 13% damage instead of 25, but...
Overall, it's still...
It's a lot of damage at level 1.
So is Warlock now... as it's buffed sort of his damage potential in the lane?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. That'll be an interesting one to see. Marco, do you want to go through Wind Ranger? They've changed... Well, I mean, do you want to go through Wind Ranger? Probably not, but...
This scepter change is kind of weird. Now adds 2 wind run charges and increases movement speed by 45%. And has anything else changed? So is the original scepter bonus still in play now?
No, they got rid of it, I think.
So they've got
because they changed focus fire cooldown to compensate.
Yeah.
Okay, I see. So yeah, so now Focus Fire doesn't have small cooldown and no damage reduction. It now has 2 Windrun charges. So Ags is effectively not an item on Windrunner anymore. Instead, you've got to get your level 25 talent to get Focus Fire damage reduction. But then, like you say, the cooldown is 70, 50, 30 rather than 70 at all levels, so that compensates it a bit. I mean, it now just means you're not needing to pick up an Ags, but these days people weren't even really doing that. So, I don't really think there's anything to make of this change.
I think it's surely a massive nerf to Windrunner to not be able to remove the damage reduction on the ult. Because Ags was pretty core to Wind Ranger before the...
Yeah, it was always third item, I guess.
Yeah.
So it is a bit weird.
Or even second. Some people went Maelstrom
Ags, yeah. It is. And now it's only at 25 that you get his damage reduction.
And it's not even... It's only 20% of the... Or does that remove it, I suppose, because you'll be level 3 at that point?
But still, level 25 is a long time to go.
A long way away, yeah. Long way away.
But then you're going to have it on 50 seconds cooldown, but maybe if it was like 70, 45, 25, maybe you'd be like, okay, you've got more uptime and therefore relevance, rather than relying on having an Ags to do stuff. So, but still, 50 seconds at level 12 to 18 is still like fairly quite long for this ult that's now going to be still a bit shit because you don't have Ags improving it.
Yeah, I personally think it's a shame because I really liked the fact that Sumail was bringing back the Wind Ranger mid.
Yeah.
And now I feel like it's shit again because you need Ags. You needed Ags. After a while, you needed Ags. You can kind of get away with it early, but I think it's hard to play without it in terms of doing what you want a mid Wind Rangers to do in the sort of mid to late game. But, we'll see. Certainly this new Ags doesn't excite me much. 2 wind run charges. Sure. I mean,
45% move speed's pretty good.
yeah, to be fair, that part is 45% move speed is kind of bonkers. Maybe I'll be wrong. I mean, maybe I'll be wrong and it's actually really good. So we'll see.
Yeah, maybe if there's lineups where the enemy has no lockdown, you're like, okay, my wind run is just going to go crazy. Maybe that could be powerful.
Maybe you can get away with, maybe it's like focus fire cooldown is like her getting a bunch of gold anyways. Like maybe you don't need, because what was it, 12-second cooldown before or something on focus fire?
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
Maybe she doesn't need that. Maybe at level, I do think 12 to 18 is going to be kind of tough with the 50 seconds, but maybe you can put that 4k gold into another damage item. I guess you're doing 80% damage, and then the level 25 talent would take you to 100% damage with focus fire. I don't know. She could still be pretty good, I think.
I think she'd be okay if the focus 5 cooldown was a little bit better. 50 seconds rather than 70 at level 2 still feels like it's a bit slow.
60, 45, 30 or something?
Yeah.
60, 40, 20.
20, that's
60, 45, 30 is a good shout.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, we got to say we got to remember she's in Viz, too, at level 20.
Yeah.
That's pretty good with the wind run. Have 2 charges of that. That's actually kind of strong.
You can travel some distance with
surely
45%.
You can just position your shackle shots so much easier if you're that fast, right?
You'd think so, yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see. Marco, carry Winter Wyvern.
Ags, Arctic burn mana cost per second reduced from 40 to 30. Wow. So Winter Wyvern Ags, for those who aren't familiar with carry Wyvern, is you can toggle your Arctic burn on and off, the one where you get really far attack range and slow on the attack, etc. So now it's more sustainable to get an Ags and pew pew from miles away. I mean, the only relevant thing about this change is that it means I'm allowed to play Winter Wyvern for one time in the next 6 months.
What's the item build on carry Wyvern? Phase.
Like phase.
Phase, Blink, Solar Crest, Molyneux,
I won't bother with
Hurricane
Blink.
Pike.
Hurricane Pike's cool because then you get even Omega more distance.
Maelstrom.
Because you get a damage talent on Wyvern.
Yeah, 60 at level 10, which is very strong.
So you can just get phase and then, I mean, even just jump straight into like Mjolnir Ags or something. Once you got those 2 items, I'm pretty sure that you'd be pew-pewing an awful lot of damage.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, I think that pretty much concludes Witch Doctor and Zeus were touched up a little.
Zeus got a really good level 10.
Zeus?
3 mana regen at level 10 for Zeus, that talent. I guess it's that or an XP talent, so maybe you don't get it, but 3 mana regen is really good, and it's really good. I mean, like Wind Ranger has one of those at level 10, and she always gets that. You don't have to worry about mana regen after that, pretty much. So, and he gets 0.25 base mana regen, so...
Yeah, Ursa has a similar talent as well that is often picked up more often than not. The mana regen at 10. Yeah. Any closing thoughts that we have, Marco or Adam?
My closing thought is that the patch isn't as drastic as I thought it would be, given that we've waited 2 months. So there are a lot of little changes, a lot of obviously Aghanims changes, and in vast majority of cases, you're not really going to see that play out in games, but it's just like a nice little nuggets added. We've just got the welcome changes, like to Dro, and a few items are slightly touched down. New items, new heroes in CM, like spices up the pro scene maybe a tiny bit. But overall, it's not too crazy. But it is fun that there's a lot of axe changes.
It's going to be the Wild West. That's all. Just be prepared. I mean, I'm not going to play ranked for a long time. I mean, there's going to be so many unoptimized item builds, people just building ags just to test things out.
Yeah, it'd be funny.
Just prepare to see ags in every game.
Yeah, if I was to say anything, it would be similar to what Marco said. Doesn't seem... A lot of the ags changes are sort of gimmicky things that you won't really see. there's not a ton. When you strip away the ags, it is kind of like, a letter. It could have been 720G or whatever. Do you know what I mean?
Without the ags changes, yeah.
Without the ags changes, it's a lot of touch-ups. The changes to the map, the initial changes that we talked about at the start, maybe some of those become bigger than we think. It's cool to get the ags upgrade, the changes to the map, the changes to the XP.
I mean, yeah, these later games that you expect with towers and Roche being sturdier is pretty significant, really, for like the general gameplay, and that itself could then influence playstyles and meta kind of stuff.
But like anything with Dota, you never know. Just the little nudges could
massive butterfly effect.
become tipping points for some heroes or for some strategies. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see. So massive thank you, and well, not only thank you, massive pat on the back for getting through long, grueling pod episodes, scrolling down one of Valve's update pages. Thank you ever so much to Marco and Adam for joining me, and to you, listener, for sticking it out for close to 2 hours. We'll be back on Thursday for an actual episode, and we'll be able to review our 7.22 games maybe at the start of the bit. So until then, have fun in the new world, Dota 3 7.22, and see you again soon.